In a world where dreams meet reality, there exists a place where your business can flourish. That place is Shopify. Imagine having the power to craft your online store with tools that make it as easy as a gentle breeze. Whether you're an artisan of handmade wonders, a creator of digital treasures, or a curator of the latest trends, Shopify stands by your side. With its customizable templates, seamless integrations, and support that's always there, your dream store is just a heartbeat away. Join millions of visionaries around the globe and let Shopify guide you on your journey. Visit roguemedianetwork.com/Shopify. That's roguemedianetwork.com/SHOPIFY. And embark on your free trial. Shopify, where your commerce dreams come to life.
Most bankers aren't ready to help you until after their third cup of coffee. But with Central National Bank's after-hours service, you don't have to wait for the bank lobby to open to get help. You can contact us from 6 to 8:30 in the morning or from 5 to 10 in the evening, and we'll connect you to a real, live, local person who can answer questions and fix problems 7 days a week. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Member FDIC.
Welcome back to What's Up Waco, the podcast that loves to introduce you to the people, the places, and the properties that make Waco an excellent community to live. Hey everybody, welcome back to What's Up Waco. This is Erica Boisvert, your local real estate agent. Today I am joined by Deanna Garrison of Garrison Construction. Hey lady.
Hi.
Hi, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
No, I appreciate it. I'm super looking forward to this one. So Deanna and I get to work together. Thankfully, I chased her business for a while, and it worked out.
It's a great match.
It is a good match. It's fun.
Yes.
But it's really helpful. I think that right now things are a little bit crazy with the market, but within the past 6 months and everything, people want to know how to build. And I think when people couldn't find homes, they were really, I'll just build. And I was like, wait, hold on. It's such a process. And it's so much more than picking out pretty tile and a floor plan.
Correct.
So what do you kind of, when you first meet a custom client, what is the first kind of conversation that you lay out with them of what to expect?
Yeah. Well, usually, they're looking for a builder, and they're usually a little lost in how to start. Most people are. We get two different types of people. Somebody will show up and say, I want to build. How can you help me? And what is the process? And then we get another set of people that'll come in with a full set of plans, and they want us to bid it out. And then they want to pick a builder based upon price and move forward. Mm-hmm. So for the most part, when someone comes to talk to us, it's really a conversation of what kind of size house are you looking for? Mm-hmm. Do you have land? Do you not have land? What part of town?
Yeah.
Really kind of, and then ultimately comes down to what's your budget, and have you talked to somebody from a financial perspective to handle that?
That's such a good point, because I think people don't realize you can't just go willy-nilly get, an easy loan for land. It's actually a little challenging to get a loan for land as a normal layperson,
Right.
I mean, you as a builder, you still have hoops to jump through, and
right.
And that's how you work your business. You need the land to build on. And so I found when people ask about wanting to build, that's usually my first question. Like, do you have land? Like, where are we starting out with this process? And I know there are construction loans and things like that, but just a heads up, if you're listening in and wanting to build, land is super important and not as easy to buy as you might think. And
it's really important, too, to get your builder involved before you pick your land.
Smart.
If you can. If it's family land, it is what it is. But in and around the Waco area, the soil content, it varies drastically from Lorena to Riesel to China Spring to Woodway. In Woodway, you're in the escarpment zone, and it can be a very expensive foundation to build. In China Spring, you're on a lot of rock. And that's good.
Cornerstone.
Correct. Yes.
Getting it started right.
Right. And then there's very expansive soils in West and Lorena, and they can add a huge expense to your overall cost to build, just to remove, replace, fill, and structurally and design your foundation so that it'll withhold time.
Right. That's a crazy thing to think about too. Like, I think we get caught up in the fun of building and what colors you want, what appliances you want to put in. And really that foundation can be the most costly thing in some of these areas. I know I'm looking for clients at, Lakeview lots.
Right.
And then you're looking at stilts and super engineered foundation, retaining walls, and just like the expense can add up. So, so having a builder from the beginning, looking at the land with you and helping you decide what's the best to build on.
Correct.
That's a great point.
Especially if you're on a budget or you have a, ceiling that you don't want to go over. You can go look in the market and say, oh, well, these houses cost X dollars per square foot. And so I could can I build one for the same price? We get a lot of people that'll call and say, what's your cost per square foot to build? And we try our best not to ever answer that question.
Because there's so much involved.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's so much involved with how much flat work you have, with what kind of soils you have, with, how big your porches are. Do you want a 3-car garage, 4-car garage, or you want the standard 2? So they're apples and apples. They don't match. They're apples and oranges. And so it's, we really try our best to say we price our houses based upon the plan and the site plan.
Okay. Yeah. Especially, even cement costs have gone
crazy,
stupid high.
Yes.
Recently.
Yes.
Yeah. That is not a fun number to look at.
No.
Especially if you're dreaming of a wraparound porch.
Correct. Because your porch doesn't go into your comp.
It sure does not.
Right? And yeah, just the foundation costs alone. When I first started with Billy about 6 years ago, we might have been paying $7 a square foot for a foundation. We are north of 14 right now.
Good night. Yeah, because I think I was talking to somebody yesterday and they're at about $220, $235 a yard.
Oh, wow.
I was like, geez. Yeah. Oh, wow. I was like, okay, never mind. Thank you. Goodbye.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Because we were at $100 a yard 4 months ago.
Oh, my gosh.
But I haven't seen the $235 yet.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you who not to call.
Okay.
But as you're going through the process, okay, they've got the land. You help them pick them. It's family. They already had it, however that works out. And do you have somebody who can help draw up plans, or do you recommend people? How does that work?
Great question. We have about 3 plan designers in town that we work with. And we kind of match them up with the personality of the customer, the time, how fast they want the turnaround done, the bandwidth of the current plan designer, and whether or not they can get things turned around quickly. And it is ideal to work with a builder through that design process if you can. Okay. Because we can help you say, well, if you do it this way, it could save you money. Nice. Or have you thought about including all these fancy things in your plans on the front end, and things that they may not have thought about, or a plan designer may not think about including. But since we do it every day, all day, we can offer that advice and expertise in the process of design. Oh,
yeah. Because your eyeball on those plans, by the way, if you've never looked at house plans, it's not just one pretty floor plan picture. You've got to look at your fans and where the wind is going and where your electric is going to go and where your plumbing is going to go. And, sometimes once you're done, you're kind of done because you don't want to pay the electrician to go back in and add wiring. You don't want to pay the plumber. Oh, no, up and over is better,
Exactly. So it is so important to spend an enormous amount of energy. I won't say time because you can do it in a shorter period of time, but making sure your plans are exactly what you envision.
Like super focused. Because
our trades price it out once we have it done, and that's the price. And then the construction process becomes a lot smoother because you have confidence that it's on the plan, that it's going to get done the way you want it done. And there's not an extra level of involvement or communication that needs to happen. Right. When you start to change things, then that's the opportunity for change orders. They take time, they take money, and they take more energy. There's more room for error. Okay. And so it's really, we love, for people to get it right the first time, but not everybody does. Mm-hmm. So that's also why we're here. And that's why we're, the custom builder. We can go and manage those changes if they need them.
Yes. I love that. And I love that it's the two of you. How's that going?
It's going great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me, because for the people listening, Deanna has a very cool background that I think really lends itself to how organized you guys are, and the level of communication that you offer your clients is amazing. You're not chasing your tail. You are not one to be running around. Well, I mean, there's always chaos in life.
Sure.
There's life.
Right.
But when it comes to the process,
Right.
you are communicative. You let people know where you're at with the if something needs to be fixed, you're like, we got it tomorrow.
Yes.
I mean, so explain how your background kind of feeds into
Okay.
that project management.
So my business partner and husband, he's been an entrepreneur pretty much his entire life. I came from corporate America, so I have a civil engineering background. I worked for ExxonMobil for 6.5 years. And my first job out of college, I was the project manager for the construction of gas stations.
That's crazy.
And then I did a multitude of other things with them before I went back and got my master's in business. And when I left the full-time school at 30 years old and getting my master's, I went to work for a restaurant company. They were owned in a conglomerate. And I worked in the restaurant world for 10.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been in corporate America. I've been in charge of communications. I know how important it is to communicate and how to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
And then the engineering is really where I'm just I like things in boxes and I don't like to get out of those boxes. It's very uncomfortable for me. And so, I set timelines. We're always, 2 weeks ahead of the game, giving our trades heads up on when we're going to be ready for them to start. And that just takes somebody with that level of organization to really drive a custom home process from start to finish in an organized manner.
And you need that. Speaking as somebody who's gone through the home building process as a consumer, as a real estate agent guiding people through the process,
Right.
If you don't have that communication piece, it just increases stress. It increases cost.
Correct.
Things go over time. And so that was one of the things that I was drawn to. You were real responsive, super responsive. And I was like, oh, this could be fun. And so, I think people you just kind of assume that's going to be like that. And I just want to preface this next thought by saying, builders, I love you.
Yes.
I love home builders.
Right.
My husband, he's got a GC background. I love you all. I sell your products. But organization isn't the first thing that comes to my mind. Builders I'm working with my hands. This is how I want it to go. They're out in the field. It's a busy, long day.
Right.
And then to come home and sit on the computer for 4 or 5 hours, I mean, you're exhausted. So the fact that you and Billy complement each other so well, it's beautiful. It works so well.
And one thing that we've stayed rooted in is that it will always just be him and I.
love
We
that.
will be your point of contact for our customers. When you involve a superintendent or an on-site person in the middle, it can be done and it can be done well, but it's just not something we trust to put somebody in that position. So if we get busy enough that we need help, we find help in ways that's not customer facing.
There you go. Yeah, which makes sense.
So that
You
you
delegate where you can, but you're still with your client.
correct.
That's good. That's the way to do it.
Right.
So over the past, 18 months,
Yes.
18 months to 2 years, the world has been what it has been. And you guys have had to pivot a lot in your business. What have you found to be kind of the biggest pain point, I guess? I don't want to say pain point, but process that needed maybe
Changing.
Yeah, just
Yes.
completely changing.
So it seems like at least once a week, we get another oh, you can't find this. Oh, it's hard to get this.
Mhm.
This week it's mud. It's sheetrock mud.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
I'm
weird.
ready to sheetrock a house right now, or to tape and mud a house right now and put the texture in, and we're having a hard time finding the material. But for the most part, what's affecting your timeline to build, which is what's important to a customer, because they want to get in their house,
Yeah.
and they don't want to pay long, months and months of extra interest waiting for the house to move forward, is we've had a long lead times on windows
Mm-hmm.
and on appliances and on brick. So the process that we've changed now is when we meet with a customer and when we sign the contract, when we send the plans to the engineer to engineer the foundation, we order their windows, we order their appliances, and we order brick if that's what they want.
Okay.
And then when the framers are ready to put the windows in, for the most part, we have them.
Good.
The window manufacturer I was using has stretched out to 22, 23 weeks.
Goodness.
And that's impossible to manage. So we have found another window supplier.
Oh, okay.
Well known, good brand. They've been able to be nimble, and they're getting us windows in 10 to 12 weeks.
Wow.
So as long as we follow that process, we're building a spec home right now. My windows came in Friday, and I won't need them for another week and a half, so that we won't miss a beat.
And are those custom sizes too?
Yes.
See, and that's kind of important as well. I know my in-laws, they just built, and they couldn't even get custom sizes. Some of the manufacturers have flat out said, no, we're not even attempting custom right now. We're just trying to get standard out as fast as we can. Although it feels like they haven't really adjusted their timelines as much. But hey, window people, you're busy. But also knowing that those custom ones tend to take longer too. So to knock that down to 10 to 12 weeks.
Yes.
That's awesome.
It's nice to know that for our customers that we don't have to sit there and wait for that long.
And if you're building a custom home out here and you have pasture land or you over a creek or something, you want the big windows.
Right.
You don't want the standard 4. Yeah. I mean, that's such an important piece.
The same thing with the doors too.
Yeah.
Same lead time on the doors.
Really?
And I do a lot of iron doors.
Yeah.
And when we do iron doors, they're 14 weeks.
Okay.
So really important to make sure you've got those decisions made on the front end. Appliances are just, they're a constant thing I particularly baby from my customers. I'm constantly calling, okay, we're going to need these in 2 months. Are they going to be here? And then 30 days later, okay, we need these in 30 days. Are they going to be here? Yeah. And if they're not, then we try to find a way to get them a loaner or find some alternative option for them, because it's really hard to move into a house without a refrigerator.
I was just going to say, I love that you even thought of, that you guys will find a loaner if you need to, because yay, your whole house is done and you're so excited to move in, but you can't cook or hold food or wash anything. And you don't move in.
Right.
You stay where you're at, where it's convenient. So yeah, that's hard. And side note to edit out, my in-laws got their dishwasher finally.
Okay. It doesn't work.
It was crushed in the box.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that brick is taking a long time, but what about any other stone, like Austin or?
Yeah, so all of our quarries are pretty much in Hill Country, South Austin, Salado area, and they're mining. And so if you want stone, not a problem, not a long lead time. It shows up in a couple days once you tell them what you want.
Okay, good.
Yes.
That's neat. So brick, why? Because it has to be formed and everything?
I guess.
That's so interesting.
Right. The brick plants had lots of issues with labor and then had issues with materials and availability. And, sometimes we're so busy working the solutions for people that I don't take the time to go ask the why.
Yeah. I mean, you got to use your time where it makes sense to use your time.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just know that I ordered brick for the spec home several weeks ago for it, and I just got a message from my rep that the 2 bricks I picked, they're having a hard time with quality control making them, and so I have to pick a different brick.
Oh gosh,
which I did.
I mean,
so that's what's easy when it's a spec home.
I was just gonna say,
when you're doing customs for custom homeowners, this
that
is
can
where
get sticky.
In this day and age today, and I hope I don't know how long it's going to last. Going in with an open mind and going in with knowing that costs are going to go up and we don't know what it's going to be. And availability of what your favorite thing is may disappear. So like if there's a fan that you fall in love with, buy it.
Put it in your garage,
Correct.
store it. Yeah, agree.
Because in 6 months when you go to buy it, it may not be available anymore. Or you may not be able to get it in time.
Or if you're like me, you have 190 browsers open on your phone and you can't find it anyway. So, I mean, there's also that, plus the 50 in my head.
Right.
But yeah, no, I think that's a really good point. Lighting fixtures.
Yes.
And then remember to have your builder put a plug in for it. Remember that you want a sconce by the door. There's just so much involved, but I think another thing that people, if you're listening, one thing to really keep in mind is budget. So when you guys approach a budget, how much of a buffer are you able? Now, this is a loaded question for Deanna, so don't judge her based on this. But you can add in a little bit of a buffer. But then with custom people, like you get what you pay for. So if you pick out the Thermador
correct
versus the KitchenAid Pro, like you're gonna see that cost difference. So
it's really important on the front end for you to be honest with your builder on what your taste levels are, because we will set your allowances for appliances and tile and flooring knowing that this is the range that you're going to be picking in.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not honest, if you come to us and say, well, we're not real fancy and we don't need all this fancy stuff, but then you show up to the showroom and you go pick the
out the
Thermador
Sub-Zero.
and then you want to be mad that you're
Right.
over budget, then that's not fair.
Right.
So as long as, I would say 3 years ago, there was we didn't need to give people buffers. We got to know them. We knew what their tastes were. We would hit our estimates within 1 or 2%, and
Nice.
it was great.
That's great.
Now with the constant ever-changing costs of everything, and it's
and things you don't
snowballing.
control.
Right. It was lumber.
Mm-hmm.
And then now lumber takes an emotional roller coaster all the time. It goes up, it comes down, it goes up, it comes down. Concrete's just going up and
Just up and up.
up and up. And sheetrock's going up and metal's going up and nothing's coming back down except for lumber. Lumber does the up and down. And so when we build an estimate, we do our best to try to make it conservative. And when I say conservative, that means it has some room in it for those things to happen.
Okay.
There's nothing worse to getting in the middle of a build process with somebody and saying, you're going to have the exact same house that we started this conversation with, and it's going to cost you $30,000 more.
Yeah.
So we do our best, but yes, those things happen. We communicate, and it gives them an opportunity to maybe reselect something else if they really, need to save some money.
Okay.
As we make our way through the process. So we're in constant communication of here's your budget, and here's where we're over, and here's where we're under. And, that allows them to make decisions just as we would do on a spec home.
Okay.
It says, okay, well, that cost is more than we anticipated, so maybe we shouldn't put engineered hardwoods in. Maybe we should go for the luxury vinyl plank because it looks just as great and it functions as well, and it can save us a couple grand.
Yeah. A couple grand here and there adds up quick.
Right.
Very quick. So that's really good to know. And I think, if you are putting a budget together and you're working with your builder on it, it's very good to look at those numbers from the get-go, because not everybody is as intuitive as you are. You might tell your builder that you have fancy tastes,
right,
and then still come back and they've given you
a lowball budget,
a $10,000 appliance budget, and you're like,
that's not going to meet.
That's not even my range.
Right.
So I think that's a good point. But and then to get back specifically to Garrison, you know what else I like about the communities you build? You don't just build the houses. Like, one of the things that blew me away during the parade is all of your previous clients that came in and didn't come in to ask questions, didn't come in to say, oh, hey, can you check this? They came in to hang out.
Yes.
And it was such a neighborhood feeling. And so you're really building community. And I think that speaks a lot about both you and Billy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
mean it, though. It was a really cool thing.
I think it's evolved to that over time. We put so much of our heart into what we do, and the community, the Garrett Lane community, Brazos Country Estates. We built majority of the houses on that street. We did have 2 other builders come in and buy lots and build on that street. But it's turned into a nice, cute 14-lot community of people who really, like to spend time with each other.
Yeah. And it's just so nice to see.
Thank you.
And speaking of,
yes,
looking forward to your next one.
Yes, Belmont Ranch.
Yeah.
Is coming soon.
It is.
It is. We had some supply chain issues with waterline materials, but now we are on track. And so we should have the roads in and paved in the first week of September.
So exciting.
We've got 11 lots contracted over there of the 25 available. Nice. And so, yeah, as soon as we get those roads in, you're going to get a couple of them out there for us. And
it's a beautifully, like, the plan for the community is great too, because I know if you live in China Spring, people have said, oh, there's a subdivision going in.
Yes.
And I just want to say, no, it's not. It's not what we're used to seeing. It's not a big builder coming in and using every little last bit of land to squeeze a dollar out of it.
Correct.
You guys have these large wooded lots.
Yes.
And they're just going to build this beautiful community. And you're not trying to tuck as many houses as you can in there. 25 houses is not, it's almost not even a subdivision.
We try our best to kind of look at the community and see where the gaps are. And when we did Brazos Country Estates, they were a half acre to a little, maybe 2/3 of an acre. And a lot of the feedback we were getting from folks is, if I'm going to be away from town, I want a little more space.
Yeah.
And for that community, it made sense for the cost of the infrastructure that we had to put in due to the city of Waco's involvement, since it's in the ETJ.
Yeah.
We really couldn't make them bigger lots and still make it a profitable venture.
Right.
So the next subdivision we found just outside of the ETJ, and it's in McLennan County. We're upgrading the requirements that are set forth as far as roads. There's going to be curbs that contain the roads that'll help them stay in place for a long time. But we did 1.5 acre lots there because that's what people want, a little more elbow room. They might want a horse or some chickens or, they're a shop, and that affords them that opportunity. And we also found that the people are very much into trees.
Yes.
And so building on a pasture land versus building in this environment that we have, this special spot we found that has just amazing, mature, gorgeous trees throughout it, is something that people are looking for.
Absolutely. A million times I'll show people, oh, this 11 acres, it's great price. And they're like, this pasture land, I don't. And then I'm like, I feel you. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen the journey of our tree that my husband has dubbed the funeral tree for the love of all that's holy. And that awesome. Thing will be gorgeous in 40 years or so.
My husband will always tell you this joke if you talk about trees. He'll say, do you know when the best time to plant a tree is? And people will go, no, when? He goes, 40 years ago.
40 years ago. 40 years ago. Good luck. It'll be pretty someday. Yeah. But yeah, those lots out there, they really do. And I think it's also important to remember that you're part of that community. You are in China Spring. Like that's, you're not trying to do anything, make anybody mad. You're building beautiful houses and just a sweet community. And you're fostering community. I think it's more than building, like you're fostering community.
Right.
And that's what China Spring is about. So it fully fits in with the love that you find in that neighborhood.
I agree.
Not to get into the 3-3 versus the 0-8, which China Springers understand, but it would still be China Spring against the world. It's like a big dysfunctional family. So
it is.
I'm excited for those to go in and to see how it all works out.
I agree.
It'll be fun.
It is.
And then you've mentioned a spec home a couple times.
Yes, ma'am.
How's that coming?
Good.
Yay.
So framing should wrap up in a couple weeks.
Is it the one I'm thinking of?
Lot.
Lot. Yeah.
Yes.
Yay. I know. I went the other day and I was shocked to see, I was like, oh.
Yes.
I took footage.
Yes. It's going to be 3,400 square foot.
That's massive.
It's going to have a gorgeous, huge flex room upstairs with this window that overlooks the pasture across the street.
Yes.
So it's going to have all the funds in it. And in this market, one thing we pride ourselves on is the quality of the work that we do. And so we put in good stuff in our spec homes. And so we're putting in good appliances and nice finishes. And it's going to be another one of the fun ones to do. I love the opportunity to do the fun stuff too, even though we have to talk about foundations and cost of lumber. We get to do the pretty tile and the countertops.
And you do.
All the fun things, yes.
Because you do the Bedrosian and the pretty beautiful stuff and
quartz countertops.
Yeah. But I mean, even with the tile, you did that Midori green. And then I started seeing it on design pages months later. So and you did evergreen fog. Never going to remember that. I'm never going to forget the name of that paint.
That was the number one question on the Parade of Homes. What color is this paint?
Well, let us tell you about it. For sure. And so, but you're doing that stuff ahead of the curve. And so I personally, as somebody who has moved to Texas from a state that will not be mentioned, I love that you're ahead of the curve on design.
Thank you.
Your gold fixtures and, maybe that won't live forever.
Right.
Avocado refrigerators went away and it's not for everybody. You know what I mean?
Correct. We try to do timelessness and then, especially in a spec home, with a touch of trend.
Yeah.
So that it can, if somebody wants to change it in 10 years, that it's not the most expensive part to change.
That's what I was going to say. A lighting fixture.
Right.
Versus the exterior stone.
Correct. Your front door.
Big difference. Your front door. There's a little bit difference in cost there.
Correct.
No, that works. All right. So before we finish up, what is other than the things we've discussed so far, what's the number one question you get? Other than how much is it price per square foot? Is that it? That's just all you get. During the process with clients, is there anything else that comes up a lot that would be good for a potential build to know?
I mean, I will just reiterate something we've already talked about, and it's really truly about being organized on the front end. It's the building a house that you don't want to there are times in your life where you just need to jump on both feet and go and figure your way out as you make your way through it. Building a house is not one of those. You will pay and it will take time if that's the way you approach it. So planning on the front end, really knowing what you want on the front end is something we can't reiterate the most. Our happiest customers, and the people who enjoy the process the most, are the ones that are detail oriented on the front end, know what it is they're looking for, have their Pinterest boards already set for their design, and then they can sit back and just know that we've got it and let us do our job and really, produce the end product that they really wanted.
Okay, so focus on the front end, spend your time there, and then you can make it an almost enjoyable process.
It is.
I only say almost because it's stressful.
It's always stressful.
There's always stress involved.
Yes, and there's a gazillion decisions to be made.
Oh, so many. But
so many.
One way to mitigate that, what you're saying, is
get it on the front end.
Done right at the beginning.
Yes,
and then go from there.
Yes,
and then you're not going to be facing those, oh no, this is what we just found, phone calls as often.
Right.
Stuff comes up.
Correct.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I have my Pinterest board ready, and we're not going to build for like 2 more years.
I can't wait.
I'm so excited. Scott the other day was just saying, he's like, we need to get our floor plans ready. I was like, we have like 2 years.
You can start sketching them or start finding your ones that you like.
No. I hope he doesn't listen to this
take
podcast.
It does not take 2 years, but it's good to just get to know your floor plan.
That's true. Well, we'll get into it, but all right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
So if anybody wants to look at the beautiful pictures of your gorgeous homes, what's the easiest way to connect with you guys?
We are on Facebook under Garrison Construction, and we also have a website, garrisonconstructionllc.com.
Very cool.
And then all of our contact information is very easily found in either of those places.
Very good. All right. And as always, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Erica Sells Texas. We are happy to help you out. Hope you learned something about building today. It's a crazy process, but if you put the time in, it turns out beautifully. Garrison Construction is here to help you out. Interview other builders.
Yes.
I know who I love, but I always recommend interviewing all the people and get all the information you can. Hopefully you learned something today. Thank you so much, Waco. Have a good one. Have a topic you want to talk about? Do you have questions about Waco, the real estate market, how to sell your house, what to look for when you're buying a home? Send me an email, ericasellstexas@gmail.com. Shoot me a text, 254-447-0180. Happy to chat about it. Find me anywhere you listen to your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com.
In a world where dreams meet reality, there exists a place where your business can flourish. That place is Shopify. Imagine having the power to craft your online store with tools that make it as easy as a gentle breeze. Whether you're an artisan of handmade wonders, a creator of digital treasures, or a curator of the latest trends, Shopify stands by your side. With its customizable templates, seamless integrations, and support that's always there, your dream store is just a heartbeat away. Join millions of visionaries around the globe and let Shopify guide you on your journey. Visit roguemedianetwork.com/Shopify. That's roguemedianetwork.com/SHOPIFY. And embark on your free trial. Shopify, where your commerce dreams come to life.